All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tight the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Greatest Baseball Show on the ASAP Network, and maybe it'll be the greatest baseball show ever. So we have a full starting lineup today. First, I want to welcome Felix. Felix, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So, Felix, which team do you follow the most? How do you feel about the catcher?
I'm happy, but
All right.
I'm happy, but I'm sad. I can put it to you like that.
Gotcha. Next, we have Greg, the one-question man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you tonight?
I am doing very well, And we got UL, not Roman Reigns, big dog, but the UL, big dog. How are you doing down in Florida?
I'm very good. What's up? Felix, you're a Phillies fan. I'm a Mets fan, man. We're both NLE, so it's going to be a little heat tonight. We'll see what happens.
All right. Thanks for not getting Romito.
I'm glad we didn't get him, honestly, but we'll talk about that later.
All right. Last but not least, we got Brandon ready for baseball. Brandon, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to knock out some baseball. You know, sporting the new Twins AAA minor league team, the Saints from St. Paul. So let's go.
All right. Probably better than the Rangers, right?
Well, yes. Saints are probably better than the Twins themselves. So,
all right. So we got to do some little housekeeping right here. Brandon, you're wearing a new shirt today, aren't you?
oh yes, I am wearing a new shirt. You are exactly right.
Can you let our viewers know how they can win a free T-shirt?
Well, as a member of that fine club, all you have to do is comment, share, like our video. The more comments we receive from you, the better chances you have of winning this awesome ASAP T-shirt.
All right. And if you're shy to comment, how else can they get this T-shirt?
They can contact one of the ASAP Network people, and for $14.99 plus shipping and handling, we can send you out a shirt ASAP. And if you're a bigger guy like myself, a few extra dollars to get you a bigger size.
I didn't catch that price, Brandon. What was that price again?
$14.99. A lot less than Tejada's contract.
All right, that is true. It's less than $20. Can't beat that. So let's get into the topics tonight. How about that? So our first topic it's going to be a good one. Well, we'll continue. So our first topic today. So we know that the Hall of Fame had 0 inductees this last year. So with that being said, we're going to do something a little bit off topic. We're going to talk about who should not be in the Hall of Fame. This topic I thought it was a great topic. I never even thought about this. So, Greg, I want to go with you. Who is in? You're not in the. Who is not supposed to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame in your opinion?
Well, I came up with a few guys that I thought shouldn't really be in the Hall of Fame. One that kind of stood out, but I'm going to give him a pass because he is such an excellent defender. He turned the most double plays in Major League Baseball history at second base. That's Bill Mazeroski. Now, his overall numbers and his power numbers and everything don't add up. I'm going to give him a pass. I don't necessarily think that he is necessarily Hall of Fame worthy, but I'm going to give him a pass on this because I found a few guys that are even less deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. Another name that I saw was Tony Lazzeri. Tony Lazzeri made the Hall of Fame, and he hit like 28 home runs and 530 RBIs. His only claim to fame, well, he's got a couple claims to fame. He won a World Series in 1905, and he went into managing for a few years too, but his managerial record was around 43% over 4.5-5 years of managing. Now, the bottom two people is a guy named Roger Bresnahan. I'm sorry, I had that mixed up with Tony Lazzeri. Roger Bresnahan was who I was talking about that had 26 home runs and 530 RBIs. He was in my bottom two. Tony Lazzeri, I actually gave him a pass. I'm sorry. He actually holds the American League record still to this day for most RBIs in a game with 11. He also was the first player to hit 2 Grand Slams in a single season. So I'm giving Tony Lazzeri a pass. The most interesting name that stands out, and I hope that we get a lot of ha-ha emojis on this, is I'm going to go way back to the mid-1870s. There was a guy named Candy Cummings. He had a 21-22 record in Major League Baseball. Now, if you look him up on Google, it says that he had 145 wins, but 124 of those wins came when he pitched in a league called the National Association, which Major League Baseball does not really recognize, and the Hall of Fame definitely does not recognize as a legitimate Major League Baseball affiliation at that time. So Candy Cummings, 21-22 record. His only claim to fame, and he got written in by the Veterans Committee, was the first noted player to ever throw a curveball. So the legend has it that he invented the curveball, and so he's sitting in the Hall of Fame with a 21-22 record.
All right. With all those names, who is the one person that you would put into the Hall of Fame?
Out of everybody, I would probably put either Sweet Lou Whitaker or Dick Allen in the Hall of Fame. I think that Sweet Lou was a tremendous player, great second baseman for the Detroit Tigers. Dick Allen is a hard-hitting third baseman. He could play a little first base, a little outfield. He had 350 home runs. I mean, I think that his power stats alone are good enough, are better than Roger Bresnahan and Tony Lazzeri. So I think that Dick Allen definitely deserves a fair shake. So those would be the top two that I would probably put in and I think are overdue for the Hall of Fame.
All righty. Those are some excellent names that you put down. Felix, I want to know who should not be in the Hall of Fame.
So I'm only 35 years old. I'm not trying to go all the way back, but someone who I don't think is deserving is Jeff Bagwell. I think he was on the juice before people knew it. That's just a personal thing. He blew up in like a year or two and just started smashing home runs. So that's one of the guys that I wouldn't put in the Hall of Fame.
All right, who would you put in the Hall of Fame?
Well, he's a little crazy, but it has to be Schilling. His numbers, I mean, he's got a sock in a Hall of Fame. How's he not in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. His own DNA is in there.
I agree. I think that Schilling should have been voted in this season.
All right, we'll probably get a little bit more into that a little bit further with Curt Schilling. With that being said, UL, who do you think should not be in the Hall of Fame?
Okay, I've got two. I'm going to disagree with Greg. I think Mazeroski should not be in the Hall of Fame. Mazeroski had a 260 batting average, just over 2,000 hits, but Mazeroski is known for only one thing, the Game 7 home run in 1960 World Series for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Everything else he did was just mediocre. Unfortunately, a lot of guys from that era are in because of their big moments. So to me, Mazeroski is not a true Hall of Famer. The other guy I don't think should be in, and I might get an argument from Brandon because he did play for the Twins, is Bert Blyleven. Bert Blyleven to me was a compiler. He never won a Cy Young. He never once led the league in wins or ERA, and only led the league in strikeouts 1 year in 1985. He made only 2 All-Star teams in 22 seasons. To me, that's not a Hall of Fame career. Yeah, he's got 2 World Series because he was on 2 rosters, but he was not the key pitcher on either of those rosters. He was like the second or third pitcher. There's a lot of compilers in the Hall of Fame, but to me, Blyleven stands out. I do agree with Felix about Bagwell, although, there's a lot of other guys whose stats were blown up for supposed juicing. Piazza's another one. Everyone said Piazza was on the juice, and as a Met fan, it's hard for me to say that, but I do think he probably was juicing. There's probably another one I'm forgetting right now. But, yeah, to me, Mazeroski and Blyleven are the 2 guys, and vote for Pete Rose to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm a Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame guy. 100%. He should be in.
Awesome. That's not almost like another topic I want to get into.
That's another show, right?
oh no, we're gonna go full in today. So I was kind of hoping with the Twins pick that you were gonna pick Kirby Puckett.
Kirby. Yeah. See, I don't know. I've got a soft spot for Kirby Puckett. I've got a soft spot for him. I always loved him as a player. I loved his tenacity. I loved his intensity. And, Kirby's really associated with those Twins teams and was one of the reasons they won, those championships. So to me, Kirby's stats are borderline. But, when you lead a team to victory like that with borderline stats, you're going to get into the Hall, But, his stats were a lot better than Mazeroski. So to me, Kirby's borderline, but I think Kirby should be in.
All right. Me and Kirby Puckett, we actually have a history together, believe it or not.
Ooh.
He gave my great-grandmother a kiss. I forget what game it was, but hey, we have history. That's all I can say about that one. All right, Brandon, we're going to go into you. Can you defend your Minnesota Twins here?
Well, I get why he said Blyleven shouldn't be in, but it took him all up till the last year he was eligible to get in. So it took him a while. Now, Puckett, on the other hand, part of me is shocked that he was in on the first ballot. So that kind of shocked me. But as a big Kirby Puckett fan myself, I think he should be in, but I don't think it should have been first ballot. But yes, he was the face of the franchise pretty much from day one to when he retired. But outside of that, for me, I went with Roy Halladay not being in. I mean, the guy, career numbers were below average at best. A couple of the stats I saw that he ranked below Dennis Eckersley in complete games and strikeouts. And Eckersley was known more for closing roles. So I think Roy Halladay should definitely not be in the Hall of Fame. But again, I'm with y'all. Got to vote for Babe Ruth. He's got to be in.
You mean Pete Rose?
Pete Rose, yes. I'm sorry, Pete Rose.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Babe Ruth to get into the Hall of Fame.
I'm sorry.
Babe Ruth should be in the beer drinking Hall of Fame too. So we'll see what happens.
I know there's a Hall of Fame he wasn't in.
Exactly.
All right. So my choice was Bill Mazeroski. Just because he was not a very good hitter, not very good offense during his time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And you nailed it right there. He only had one glorifying moment hitting that Game 7 home run, and it was his friends in the I believe his friends from that team and the Veterans Committee are the ones that voted him in.
Right.
But you can also give him the fact that he was like an 8 Gold Glover, but his defense he had a pretty solid defense. Would you give him that?
No, he was definitely a great defensive player, but to me, you've got to be 5 tool to get in the Hall of Fame, or at least 4 tools. He maybe had like 2 or 3.
He did turn almost 1,100 double plays at second base, though, and still leads Major League Baseball in all-time double plays by a second baseman.
True, but compare him to other second basemen that are in. He's not on. Yeah. To me, I'm going to go way back. Rogers Hornsby is the bar to me for second baseman. Although the game has changed, but even guys like Roberto Alomar, much better second baseman than he was. I'm drawing a blank on the guy that played for the Dodgers in the 60s and the 70s. Don't get me wrong. Mazeroski could be thought of as a Hall of Famer, but I just, he's just that one hit is what got him in. He doesn't hit that home run, he's not in. That's just it's pretty obvious. And as Sarge just said, his friends on the committee definitely got him in. That definitely was helpful.
So I got a question. Since we're throwing out a couple guys, what about Ozzie Smith? What do you guys think on him? Because I thought about saying him.
Ooh, Ozzie.
If you go by the numbers, he didn't have the numbers, but his defensive skills and the face of the Cardinals, he's in. Ozzie
to me changed the game as far as the shortstop position. Mm-hmm. He took the position to the next level. The way he played it with such his wide range, his physicality, his showman. The showmanship, but just Ozzie made key plays at key moments, and yes, he hit a home run that might have propelled him in. In the championship game, another championship series against the Dodgers. But he. To me, he innovated and changed the way shortstops are perceived as far as fielding the ball. So that's probably why he got in.
Okay. All right. I can see that. So my other person I would choose is Lou Brock. I know he has like over 3,000 hits and so forth, but he has had one of the worst career on base percentages. I think Robin Yount was a lot worse than he was. And Brock, he could steal bases, and he led steals 8 times, but he also led the times how many times he got caught stealing 7 times. So to me, I think Lou Brock should not be in the Hall of Fame. And that is my opinion. And so far, and Ray Cruz, he's come in and he said yes to Pete Rose, already been in. And believe it or not, Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame. Did you guys know that?
Well, his the baseball he hit for his the hits total. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on numbers right now, but yeah, he has equipment in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, but him as a player should be in. Yeah, definitely.
As a celebrity, he is in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's all I'm going to say right there. All right,
boy. Sorry, I should have known you were going there.
Oh, you should have gone. Yeah. All right. So we know that this year, like, there was no inductees into the 2021 Hall of Fame. Felix, do you agree with that? With no one to be elected?
This is their stand up against the Juice. A lot of the people that were up to get in were on Juice, and I feel bad for Schilling because he's a little crazy. That's probably what stopped him. But I guess they didn't want to put one person in and then have them outcasted against the rest. So I could see it. I understand why. And let's face it, Sosa, McGuire, they made millions off of the Juice. Bonds, they all made millions. So this is the way baseball stands up to that. And I understand. It is what it is.
All right. Brandon, what do you think? Do you agree with this year's being a shutout?
No, I think Schilling should have got in. If they're going to make a stand against people on the Juice or supposedly using, then they could probably take away 3/4 of the Hall of Fame that's gotten in recently, that's played in the juice ball era, the steroid era. So if they're going to make a stand this year because they didn't want nobody in, people that played most of their career in the juice era should not be in the Hall of Fame. Then that's just my opinion.
All right, UL, what's your stance?
Okay. Schilling should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. I think the sports writers, and I have a grudge against a lot of these sports writers. These sports writers are bringing personal agendas to the table. They're bringing their, I'm not going to have a unanimous vote for someone. Like Derek Jeter should have been in unanimously. A couple sports writers like, we know he's going to get in, so I won't vote for him. No, it's not about that. Or sending in a blank ballot. It's not about that. It's about, the integrity of these players on the field. Yes, Schilling's a nut job. He's been very outspoken. He's been very political, but ignore that. What did he do on the field? What did he do during the time he played? Guys like that. Am I an anti-steroid guy? Yeah. To me, is a Hank Aaron still the home run king? Yes. However, the spotlight that guys like McGwire and Sosa and Bonds brought to the game should be recognized somehow. Are they Hall of Famers? Maybe. Is Roger Clemens a Hall of Famer? He had the numbers just about before he got on the juice and went a little nuts, especially with the bat throwing incident against in the World Series with Piazza. But to have a no player class like this year, no. There's got to be one or two that should have gotten in. And for the sports writers to hold a grudge the way they're holding a grudge, it's just terrible. And they should reevaluate the voting process and who has a vote and who has a voice in this process.
All right, and we see that Robert Goss has commented on there that Pete Rose as a player should be in, and also Schilling should be in. So he's in agreement with us. And also, Robert, if you keep interacting with the show, you have a chance to win a free ASAP T-shirt.
He wants that T-shirt, baby.
With what Brandon is sporting right there. So, all right, Greg, you turned into a 2-question guy here tonight. So, what is your stance on the shutout for the MLB?
I definitely think that there should have been somebody elected into the Hall of Fame. I think that Curt Schilling was the most notable left off, and I do think that it was very highly politically motivated. We've been talking a lot about Bill Mazeroski, how he got voted in. Bill Mazeroski happened to be a very likable guy. He was pretty much Bob Uecker with a lot more talent. The Veterans Committee really liked Bill Mazeroski. He got in because he is very friendly, very likable, had friends within the Veterans Committee. But I think that Curt Schilling, what he did in the postseason, being a Bulldog pitcher, the bloody sock, his ERA through all the 3 World Series, his pitching performances in clutch games. I mean, his numbers stack up to a Hall of Fame career for sure. When you're talking about Bonds and Clemens, I think that whatever people think, because you have to remember, Bonds and Clemens don't have positive drug tests tied to their name. But there's a lot of speculation, and I'm not saying that they didn't take steroids. I'm not saying that they did. I'm just saying that we don't have anything that says absolutely 100% that they did take it. There is no test that I have seen that says Roger Clemens took this, Barry Bonds took that. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm all about being innocent until proven guilty. I'm not saying that they didn't take it, but I'm saying that there's just not enough hard evidence, and I think that they're being convicted a little bit early because they were brought up in the Mitchell report. But when they got brought up in the Mitchell report in 2007, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds were already on the fringe of Hall of Fame level anyway, right before that. So I think that they, even if their careers would have ended right at 2007, I think that they would have had the numbers to get into the Hall of Fame. So, but discounting Clemens and Bonds, I definitely think that Schilling should have got in. I think that, Schilling has been very outspoken with a lot of things they said, a lot of things he said was true. A lot of things he said were questionable, but we're living in a society now, kind of a mean girl society, where if you're attached to somebody that a certain side doesn't like, why are you friends with this person? What's going on? Why do you like this person? Why are you hanging out? Society is a lot different than it was 20 years ago. So I think there's a lot of politics involved. I think that Schilling kind of rubbed people the wrong way, but I definitely think for what he did on the field should be deserving of the Hall of Fame.
All right, John Suggs, welcome to the show. And no, we still got more February left. For someone to pick out whoever won that free T-shirt, just keep commenting. I know you've been on a lot of shows. My take is on this. I do think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. The reason I say this more and more because we have Trey Bonds and Roger Clemens who've been allegedly tied to PEDs, but also we have Manny Ramirez that's on the ballot that he's been caught twice. He tests positive twice for PEDs, and he's on the ballot. And PEDs, in my opinion, that's cheating. That's my opinion. You're cheating. And also, when Pete Rose was betting, he was betting his team to win most of the time. When he was a player manager, I believe it was like 86 or 85, somewhere in that mid right there. I strongly believe that Curt Schilling should get in, and I think he rubbed the baseball writers the wrong way this year by saying that he wants to be left off the ballot. And what the writers did, they're like, nope, we're going to put you back on the ballot because Schilling came out publicly saying, I want the veterans to vote me in. And what I think could be happening to Curt Schilling is that he's going to be on a ballot from the writers, but the writers are not going to vote him in. I think it's going to be a long out drama with that. So with that being said, with 2022 coming in, who do you think is going to get into the Hall of Fame, or is it going to be another shutout, Brandon?
Well, actually, I was just going to bring that up. I know a lot of early reports after this year's Hall of Fame said it possibly could have another shutout in 2022. So I don't exactly know who's on the ballot, first timers. I didn't look, but I would not want to see a second straight season of a shutout. I think that would kill baseball in general.
Okay, what's your opinions?
Okay, I just pulled up the ballot here, so I have a little bit of reference. Let's see. Schilling was 71.1% of the ballot, so he might sneak in. Bonds and Clemens are at 61%. They've got a shot. As far as first timers, Alex Rodriguez, he's not getting in. He's been caught. David Ortiz is an interesting conversation. He does have the numbers, but Ortiz again he's been associated with possible PED use. So is he going to get in? I don't know. Mark Teixeira didn't play long enough, in my opinion. And the rest of the players on the ballot are no one. I mean, Justin Morneau was on his way, but he got hurt. He didn't really have a shot. Prince Fielder, another guy, started hitting the numbers, didn't really have a chance. But what's interesting is from this past ballot, Scott Rowland at 52%. Scott Rowland is not a Hall of Famer, But here's another question: is Omar Vizquel a Hall of Famer? There's been a lot of talk about Vizquel's career, so I'm going to put that out there to our panel. What do you guys think about Omar Vizquel?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm kind of 50-50 on that one because I know what he did on the field as in the infield. But batting-wise, it's a hard 50-50 for me on that one as of right now. I cannot make a decision at this time. Felix, you were about to go.
I think the only reason he's in the conversation is because of his longevity career. Besides his defense, he didn't really bat very well. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but over the course, I believe he played maybe 14 years or something like that. That might put him in the conversation, but he's not he shouldn't be in my opinion.
Yeah, his stats are, he's got 2,877 hits. His career 951 RBIs. His career average, I'm trying to find his career
272.
average. 272. Yeah. Yeah, those aren't really Hall of Fame numbers, but he keeps creeping up on the chart here. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, he won't get in this year, but come 15 years, I mean, look what happened with Jim Rice. Jim Rice kept creeping up. Jim Rice's last year, he got in, so who knows? Blyleven too. Yeah, Blyleven got in his last year. So yeah, but will 2022 be a shutout? In my opinion, it might, or Schilling might creep in.
All right, so I want to get to some of these comments first from Robert Goss. The problem with the enhancement drugs is that the majors didn't test when they knew the 90s was a wild time. The MLB liked the attention that Sosa and McGuire brought to the game. Yes, I have to agree with that because baseball was almost dying, and ESPN put up that 30 for 30 special, and I would have to say that Sosa and McGuire actually kind of ignite a fire in baseball, make it more marketable and everything else. But also with McGuire, he's the only one that I know of so far that has come and said, yes, I did performance-enhancing drugs. And yes, I'm ashamed of it. Unless you're Rafael Palmeiro, when he's in front of Congress saying, I did not do steroids, and the next month he popped positive.
Exactly.
So
exactly. No, those guys saved baseball in 1998 because, as you said, after the strike, baseball was dead. The fan base was dead. The national interest was dead. 98 saved the game. You're absolutely right.
All right, Greg, we're going to go to you. What about next year? Do you think it's going to be a shutout?
I don't. I think that something's gonna click with the baseball writers. I wish that it wasn't down to the baseball writers. I wish it was more like the All-Star game where the fans could vote on who they truly wanted and didn't want, to be in the Hall of Fame. But I think that year number 10, I think you've seen Clemens and Bonds. They're creeping up. I don't know if their numbers are going to be quite there, but I think that some of the baseball writers might say, you know what? 10 years, they've been sweating it out. They're on their last year. They might get a few more votes. I can see possibly Clemens getting in there. I'm not sure about Bonds because he had those astronomical numbers, and he had massive body mass.
Yes.
Development. In those years. Not so much with Clemens. He looked a little bit bigger and everything, and he kept his form into his early 40s. But I can see possibly Schilling getting in there. I don't know if it's going to go in the reverse. Schilling was so close this year. He was like 14 votes shy. I don't know if he's going to pick it up, but I think possibly if none of those guys get in, David Ortiz might have an outside shot. He has been in the conversation, but he's never had a positive test. Unlike Alex Rodriguez, who has served many games for performance-enhancing drugs. But Major League Baseball seems to really have a thing for Alex Rodriguez, even with the steroid use. Even that year that he sat out a whole season, Major League Baseball had him analyzing games and working with the Major League Baseball team on TV, doing games and postseason and everything. So I don't think Alex Rodriguez is going to probably get in this year just because of his ties. But for some reason, I do think that at some point he will get in. But I do think that somebody is going to get in this year. I think either Clemens or Ortiz, if they can kind of get past the alleged steroid use.
So before we go, Sarge, I gotta, going off of what Greg said, could Alex Rodriguez be the first guy to break that barrier, you think, overall? I mean, like Greg said, MLB had a love for him when he was suspended for the whole year. Could he be the one guy that might break that barrier to get these guys in? I mean, what's your guys' thoughts?
Is my mic working? I had to unplug it for a second. Oh, we're good? Okay. No, I think he might. I really do. And it pains me to say that because I've never been an A-Rod fan. I think he's pompous. I think he's a horrible, horrible analyst. Listening to him on Sunday Night Baseball it's terrible. But yeah, he might get in. He really might, because as you just said, man, the sports writers love him. They love him. So
yeah, for some reason they just have a thing for him. I don't know what it is. You know, he served that full year suspension, and they were letting him hang out and broadcast games and everything all season long. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's different rules for different people, but for some reason they hate Clemens and Bonds but love A-Rod. I don't know.
Well, if he doesn't get in, I say we vote for the 6 former Twins that are on the ballot this year and get them in.
All right. John Suggs, he's been blowing up the comments. So, Robert, you got to catch up on that. So, with that being said, John Suggs mentioned that so if you take a player out of the Hall of Fame because of steroids, then you need to take every player out who had anything to do with having an advantage over a record or another player. Do you guys agree with that? I want to start with Felix.
Sorry, say that one more time.
John Suggs, he wrote, so if you take a player out of the Hall of Fame because of steroids, then you know every player who had anything to do with having an advantage.
Let me think about that. Get back to me. Let me think about that real quick.
All right, I'm going to go with Greg on this one then.
Okay, so the question is, if you take a player out of the Hall of Fame because of steroids,
Yep, then take every player who had an advantage over a record or another player. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. And to this point, I don't know if there's anybody in that may have. I mean, there's probably some people that snuck in because it was kind of the wild, wild west, you know, for a long time in the 80s and the early 90s. But I don't think so. You know, you've got players, you've got other people that served like many game suspensions, and you know, they didn't have the talent to go along with whatever they were using. I mean, you've got guys that took steroids that, you know, they doubled their home runs, like a Brett Boone, you know, a player like that just had a really awesome couple years, you know, with the Mariners, and then he just kind of dropped off when he stopped using or got caught. Then you got other guys that started to dabble in it, and you know, they went from hitting like 3 home runs a season to like 5, you know. So whatever they were using didn't really, you know, they still didn't have the talent to hit the ball. So I don't know if you should just go out and start doing a hunting expedition and try to track down people who might have done this and might have done that. I don't think it'd be good for baseball to just start trying to clean house and take away everybody's membership. I don't think that'd be a good look.
All right, I'm gonna actually my take on this question is like I'm gonna actually steer away from taking advantage from other players, but look at Ty Cobb. You gotta look at, he was probably one of the worst individuals who ever played a game with all his like he was racist and a lot of other things. He was just not a nice person, and if that does happen, if you're taking someone out of the Hall of Fame because of steroids, then you're gonna have to look at Ty Cobb, who is like one of the forefathers of baseball back when. That's my take. Felix, I'm gonna come right back at you. I believe you're muted. Felix, are you there?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah. If a player was found to have steroids, then we take that player out. Would we have to take out all the players who had an advantage in the game?
Well, it's hard to figure that out because you never really know who was on it. You got to figure everyone's looking for an advantage. So you can't put it. So no, you can't.
All right. UL.
Okay. I'm on the fence about this. And the reason I'm on the fence is because if you look back in the history of baseball, there are a lot of players like Ty Cobb. There's a lot of other players who are in the Hall of Fame, great players who had, social problems, drinking problems, abuse problems, different type of problems, but yet they're still in the Hall of Fame. I mean, did it affect them playing the game and cheating on the game? No. However, there's a fine social line, especially nowadays. I mean, with cancel culture and social justice. I mean, hell, you could say that guy shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because he wore briefs and not boxers. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you can do anything nowadays. I mean, it'd be hard to remove someone for it at this point. The steroid thing, I think, has to be considered an era of baseball. It was rampant at a certain time during the game, and I think the writers need to move forward from it and realize it was a point in the game. It was like a good 10-year period where steroids were rampant in the game, and it improved the game. It brought the game back to the masses. Remember the commercial? Chicks love the long ball. Well, the long ball brought the game back. So I wouldn't take anybody out, but I think the writers need to be a little more lenient and realize the benefit to the game itself, to the fans it brought, not just so much the integrity of the game. Because if you go back with the integrity of the game, you're going to take out most of the Hall of Fame at that point. So, yeah.
All right, Brandon, have we got to you yet?
No, but I agree with everybody's saying. I don't think you can take somebody out. But I actually like Robert's comment. I bet 60% of MLB players are using something in the 90s. I would actually say probably more than that. I'd probably shooting 75%, I would say. But yeah, you start taking one out, then you got to start nitpicking and combing everybody else's resume, and see who was using. I mean, so they're not going to take nobody out.
Maybe we should go back and talk to Jose Canseco. He might give up some more names.
Yeah, Mr. Strikeout himself. All right.
All right, so really quick, I'm going to throw out a couple of names. I'm going to choose one of you guys, and you tell me yes or no for a Hall of Fame. So, Brandon, I'm going to start with you. Mark Teixeira.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think somebody made a comment that his career was cut short, so I don't think so. I'd vote him out.
All right, you have Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins, no. Jimmy Rollins isn't a Hall of Famer. He was starting to accumulate numbers, but his career dipped at the end, and he didn't build up the resume. Jimmy Rollins is not a Hall of Famer.
All right, Felix, you got Joe Nathan.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Greg. You got Javier Lopez.
Javier Lopez. I would say no. I don't know. I don't think he is. I don't think so.
All right. My one person is Coco Crisp. Only because of his hair. I am more jealous of that guy's hair when takes it off. It's like Randy Moss when he takes off that helmet.
Yes.
All right. So, man, we just drilled down into the Hall of Fame here, and I think we need to move on. Let's move on to the NL West. How about well, Felix, with the NL West, who do you see is going to win that division?
Well, I mean, there's an obvious answer, but I'm thinking. So, I like. I don't know. Get back to me real quick. I'm trying to.
All right, Greg, you're up. Who's going to win that division?
Well, I made a bold pick last night on the Sports Minute with Nate, and I got to stick to it, or else I'd look pretty foolish. I'm going with the San Diego Padres to come out on top of that division. It's going to be neck and neck. I think that San Diego has a pitching staff which is very, very comparable and can keep up with Los Angeles. I think that with Tatis, with a brand new extension, and Manny Machado, that shortstop and third base. I mean, I think that's the best left side in the biz right now. And they got a pretty potent lineup. So I think that San Diego's maybe going to pick up and end the season with a few more games ahead of the Dodgers.
All right, Brandon, you're up to bat. Who are you picking for the NL West?
Well, I kind of wish they had the NFL schedule where they could flex games at the end of the year because I would love to see – because I think it's going to be close. I think San Diego and the Dodgers are going to battle. So it would be nice to see them like the last 2 weeks to have like a 6 games series, 3 home and home series. I got to go with the Dodgers just because their staff is a little bit more veteran. But it would not surprise me if the Padres pull it out in the last couple games. So it's going to be tight, but I got my money on the Dodgers.
All right, UL, you can't pick the Mets this time, so who are you choosing?
All right. I mean, in my opinion, the National League West it's a Dodgers world and everyone else is living in it. But I think, again, Dodgers, Padres, they're the prime in the division. I'm not going to go out on much of a limb here and pick, an Arizona, Colorado, or San Francisco. I'm going to say this. It's the Dodgers division to lose. Injuries will play the biggest part of this whole season in the NL West. If whoever stays the healthiest will win that division. I mean, the Dodgers have Bauer, they have Walker Buehler, they have Kershaw when he's healthy. That's, a hell of a starting 3 right there. The Dodgers bullpen have always been suspect, although they did kind of get it together in the World Series. We'll admit that, although it was a shorter season, so they weren't worked as hard. The Dodgers are a very analytics kind of ball club. Dave Roberts works that bullpen to its core. 162-game season with that bullpen, you never know what's going to happen. San Diego has all the tools, all the players. They have the youth. They have a much better pitching staff. I think the key to the San Diego pitching staff is Yu Darvish. And I'm going to say this. Yu Darvish has never pitched well in the playoffs. Look at his record. He's never pitched well in the playoffs. He's got to turn that around and pitch well in the playoffs. If he can, Blake Snell's going to bring it. They've got that other guy, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. He was hurt last year. Lament, I think is his last name. He was hurt last year. If they have him, and then they have another 4 starter, and again, I'm drawing blanks, I apologize. But it's LA's division to win if they stay healthy. If San Diego stays healthy and the Dodgers don't, it's San Diego. So I know it's not much of a pick, but it's my opinion.
All right, then. In the comments, Robert had the Dodgers first, then the Padres second, then Nate, he went in. He said Dodgers are number 1 with the Padres, Giants, Rockies, and Diamondbacks. And John Suggs just came in saying don't sleep on the Giants for that second place. I'm going to choose the Dodgers. I was leaning between the Padres and the Dodgers, but the Dodgers, they got Trevor Barrow. Then also they got their third baseman back, Justin Turner, and that kind of steered me all that way. So going back to San Diego, Greg, do you think Tatis had a better contract than Mike Trout, even though it's less money?
I'm not sure if it's quite as good as Mike Trout's, but I do think it's pretty good. It's very good security. It's 14 years, and it is a very healthy contract. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's neck and neck with Mike Trout's. It is a little bit less money, but I don't know. I think it's pretty comparable.
All right, Felix, who do you think got the better contract?
Trout got the better contract. And to the question before, every time I see LA, I have this image where it says where I think lost again, and up until last year, that's what I see. So it's hard for me to take them, even though they're the champs. So I guess I'm going to go with San Diego. It's definitely not any of the other three, but yeah.
All righty. All right, Brandon, what do you think?
Oh, God. Because it's the money thing, I mean, Trout got the better money deal, but I think the Padres were smart and locked this guy up, just like the Angels did, locked him up when they could. Trout, I mean, once he's done playing in the outfield, he can move to first or DH, where Tejada can move to first and then get traded to play DH somewhere else, unless National League decides to go to the universal DH role. But, I mean, overall, when Tejada's contract's done, the Mets are still going to be paying Bobby Bonilla one more year on his contract. So
Don't talk about Bobby Bonilla.
yeah, I saw that when I was looking it up. I was like, I just can't believe it. How that guy worked that deal. I mean, he's got to be slick. He should be in the Hall of Fame just for that.
All right. Well, who do you have?
Okay. Fernando Tatis's contract is a wonderful contract for the Padres in the long term. Financially, it works for them. They've got this kid locked up for 14 years. He's 22. So he's going to be with them till he's 36. And with that money structure over 14 years, the Padres are the winners in this deal because it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg as he gets older and better and starts accumulating stats, He'll want to renegotiate, and they'll be like, dude, you signed this paper, man. We got you for 14 years, I don't know what the no trade clause is in it. I don't know what the particulars are of that. But, they've got him and Machado locked up for 8 years. Machado's got 8 years left on his deal. So he's locked up for 8 years. Trout has the better financial contract because of the years and the money he's making. And my heart feels so bad for Trout for being stuck in a ball club that never seems to get anywhere. And on paper, they should be a lot better than they are, but that's another discussion. But yeah, Tatis made off like a bandit, man. I mean, $340 million over 14 years. I could just live off the interest of that. Just give me his interest. I'll take it. I'll be good to go.
Yeah, I gotta say Tatis got the better contract. The only reason I'm saying that is like what you said, Yuel. He's 22 years old and he's locked up all the way through his prime, pretty much, barring injury. I think it's great. And also, I read one report also that his playing type is like King Griffey Jr., which is my favorite all-time player of all time. So I do believe that he did get the best contract. I'm going to go back to these comments here. John Suggs says, now we all know about projections and predictions. We have been wrong before. Just ask the 2010, 2012, and 2014 Giants.
Looks like John's representing San Francisco out there.
Yeah,
All right.
but if you look at that, that's every 2 years. So we're in 2021, so that ain't going to matter.
Yeah, we're okay now.
All right.
Tatis has a full no trade clause in his contract.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Very nice. All righty. Did we get everyone for the West?
I think we did.
All right. We're going to be sliding down to the NL Central here.
Ooh.
So I was trying to look for
That's a great graphic, by the way.
I know. I had a hard time finding a current picture of the NL Central, and I gave up, and I came up with this one.
That's good.
So with that being said, I want to start with Brandon. Brandon, who do you think is going to be the NL Central winner of this year?
Cardinals. I think they locked up a lot of players they needed to. But yeah, I can't make a case for anybody else really. Maybe the Brewers, but Pirates are going to be young. I don't think they're going to do much, but it is baseball. It's a marathon, so after this past year, a lot of things could surprise us, but my money's on the Cardinals to win the West. Or Central. I'm sorry, Central. 2 errors on my part today. All right.
All right, Well, who do you have?
Okay. Well, we all know who Greg's gonna pick, so that's pretty easy. I'm against the grain here in Kentucky. Last week I said Milwaukee was underachieving. Last year, 4 out of the 5 teams from the NL Central made the playoffs. Yes, it was an expanded playoff. 4 out of 5 made the playoffs. Yes, all 4 got eliminated in the first round as well. So this division has a lot to prove. I think Milwaukee is up and coming. I think that they have a lineup that could stand with St. Louis. I think Chicago is burning out. I can't see the Cubs doing anything. The Reds lost their best pitcher, so who do they have? I mean, who do the Reds have? And the Pirates are just way too young. The over-under win total on the Pirates is 54. I mean, can they win 50 games next year? I don't know. It's going to be tough. I'm taking Milwaukee. I'm going to take a flyer and take Milwaukee and say that they beat out the Cardinals for the division.
All right, I'm going to go to Felix on this one. Who are you taking for the NL Central?
After they robbed the Rockies, it has to be the Cardinals. I mean,
Yeah, we got Nate is still a little bit mad about that trade. He's a Rockies fan and a Texas Rangers fan, so he's a little bit upset. Then John Suggs came in also saying Cards, the Reds, Brewers, Cubs, then Pirates. So, Greg, are you going to pick the Pirates? Going to win it?
I think they're going to win last place. But, I got the Cards. When the Nolan Arenado pickup was huge. We needed another big bat in our lineup. It really hurt a few years ago when we lost Marcell Ozuna. I think Carlos Martinez is going to be on the comeback trail. I think he's going to pitch really well this year for us. Flaherty is an up-and-coming superstar, has great stuff. Nolan Arenado, like I said, great pickup. And then we got Goldschmidt at first base. It's going to be a good year. I hate to see that we lost Colton Wong. He was the heart and soul, one of the top leaders in the clubhouse. But getting Yachty back, signing Wainwright, which I'm kind of on the bubble about, but let him finish his career here with St. Louis. I think that we got all the pieces to win the NL Central. I think that the Brewers are going to be probably in a tight second. I think this is going to be like a very close race because you got the Cardinals aren't going to run away with anything in the National League. I mean, you got the Dodgers, the Padres, the Mets, and the Braves are all the top teams. I think the NL Central is going to be pretty competitive overall because the Cubs are still in the mix. But I think that if things don't go well for the Cubs after a month or so, I think they're definitely going to dangle Chris Bryant out there as trade bait, try to get something for him. It seems like it's been a fire sale this offseason with the Cubs. Their World Series team that they had from a few years ago, they're getting rid of bits and pieces here and there. Epstein's gone, new management. I see the Cubs and the Reds kind of fighting for third place in that division. But I definitely think that the Cards are going to be tops, but I don't think it's going to be by a lot. I think it's going to be probably about a 4 or 5 game gap maybe between them and the Brewers.
Okay. All right. Did I miss anybody?
No, just you, bro.
Just you.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I will have to pick the Cardinals as well, just because of that trade, because they pretty much got Arenado for free, pretty much, because Colorado had also gave up $51 million with that. But also with Arenado's contract, he still has an opt-out, a player opt-out with that. So I don't know if that's going to play in the future, or is he going to sign an extension with the Cardinals? I do not know. But my next question to you guys is, who's going to have the worst season? The Rockies, we just found out that Ian Desmond is opting out the second year in a row for the Rockies. Who's going to have the worst season? The Pittsburgh Pirates or the Colorado Rockies, Felix?
It's gonna be the Rockies. It's definitely gonna be the Rockies. I might be looking at like 44 wins for them, maybe.
Ooh. Ooh. Do you think, Felix? Do you think they're gonna trade Trevor Story? Just burn it all down?
They should. They should to save his career. They should.
All righty, Greg, it's up to you. Who's gonna win it? Who's gonna have a better record, Rockies or Pirates?
It's both teams are kind of looking like a AA, AAA roster at this point. I think that the Pirates are a little bit younger. I think that the Pirates are going to have a little bit worse season for some reason. I just think that the Pirates are going to get off to a pretty slow start, and I think that the Pirates are going to have a worse record than the Rockies, but it's not going to be by much.
All right, well, you are up, sir.
Ooh, the Pirates or the Rockies. That's like having dead fish and more dead fish. Let's see. It's a toss up. I'm gonna go with the Pirates, and the reason I'm gonna go with the Pirates is because I think between the Cardinals and the Cubs and the Brewers, those teams are gonna be at the top of the division, and I think they're all gonna beat up on the Pirates. So that's at least 15. That's at least 45 losses right there. If it's, let's say the Pirates, well, they play each team 18 times. So let's say they go 3-15 against each team. So that's 9-45 right there. Colorado's going to be bad, but I don't think much of Arizona. So I think Colorado and Arizona might be able to split some games. And the Giants, I know we got some Giant fans out there, but I don't think very highly of the Giants. So, again, they might split some games. So, yeah, Pittsburgh's going to be the worst team in the National League. Worse than the Florida Marlins, even, in my opinion.
All right, Brandon. You're up.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this ever since we started talking about the Pirates, and then, like you said, Desmond's opting out for the second year, and all the moves the Rockies have made. So it's going to be close. I mean, when they face each other, you're going to either be looking at a 1-0 game or a 16-15 game. I think it's got to be the Pirates. So they're going to, I think Greg said it. They look like a AAA ball club. The Twins, not long ago, late 90s, was in the same boat. It seemed like we were like the major league affiliated for all the teams because they came and took all our good players. So, but Pirates, they might even set a record for most losses in a year.
All right, then we got Nate commenting the Rockies will probably get 50 wins, probably be 15 games higher than the Pirates. I don't know about that, but I'm going to say the Pirates are going to have a better year than the Rockies. That's me because I don't know who's on that team anymore. I really don't. Polanco's the only person I know because they got rid of Bell. Archer never came. Archer was with the Reds. My bad. Like I said, I don't know who's on that team anymore. I just gave up on who's on that team and just wrote them off with that. So, as of last week, we went through the NL East, and tonight we went through both the NL Central and West. So it's time to pick our pick for who's going to represent the National League in the World Series. I'm going to start with UL.
Oh, you know who I'm picking. Let's go Mets. You got to believe. You got to believe. This is our year, baby. I'm telling you. We've got the pitching staff. We've got now. We've got our bats ready. We've got a good bench. It's our year. Let's go Mets. That's it. Mic drop. Let's go Mets.
All right. John Suggs commented, the Rocky Stadium equals a home run launch pad. Maybe Elon Musk must go to launch off the SpaceX there. All right. I want to hear. Oh, Felix dropped out. I want to hear what he want to hear for his World Series. So, Brandon, I'm going to go with you. Who are you picking for the World Series? Going to represent the National League for the World Series?
Man, this is a tough question.
Come on, Brandon, get on my board. Come on.
Well, if Tim Tebow wouldn't have retired, I probably would have taken them.
Come on, Tim Tebow.
But Oh God. It is honestly really tough because I think the Braves are tough, the Mets are tough, Dodgers and Padres are all tough, and the Cardinals. Oh man, I'll go with the Mets just because I want to see them do it. It's been a while, so that means they probably won't do it. So because I got the curse, so. But let's go Mets. I'll jump with he owes me one, so you owe me one later.
All right, Brandon, you got it.
All right, Greg, who are you choosing?
Okay, it's a toss-up between San Diego and the Mets for me, but I think if Syndergaard comes back healthy and is pitching great baseball around July, they picked up Carrasco in that crazy trade to get Lindor. I think that Carrasco is the best piece of that trade because between him and DeGrom, they got a 9.1 WAR between them. So that's the best one to punish in the major leagues right now, statistically, as far as WAR is concerned.
Yeah.
So if you can get Syndergaard looking good, back to form, pitching great baseball in July, and then they just picked up another fresh arm with Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, big deal.
And they're taking a chance on him. I think he's got plenty of arm left if he can just stay healthy. I think that they got a great pitching rotation, and I heard that they might still be wanting to pick up a top reliever. I can't remember if Rosenthal got picked up or not, but they were wanting to go after him. But
no, Rosenthal got signed, unfortunately. Yeah.
What's that?
Rosenthal got signed this week. I think Oakland signed him.
All righty.
I can't hear you, Yoel.
No, I said Rosenthal got signed. Oakland signed him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the Miracle Mets are on their way to the World Series if they can just stay healthy. I think that Steve Cohen is really digging deep to get a World Series going.
All right.
Just as long as it's not against the Yankees.
All right. So Felix is laughing in the background because we got UL going for the Mets. We got Brandon going for the Mets. We got John Suggs going for the Braves. Felix, no matter what Philly does, win or lose, there's still going to be a riot.
So, yes. So, again, it depends on Nola and Wheeler. Hopefully they're on the top of their game. We're going to need to trade someone to get another outfielder because I don't think Odubel Herrera, which is crazy in itself that he's still playing, is coming in for spring training. So my vote's still going to be on the Phillies. I mean, but it's the Braves division to lose. And the Mets will always stand for my entire team sucks. So there's no way. There's no way anyone could actually really root for them.
All right, we'll see. It's all good. We'll see. It's all good. It's
all love, man. It's all love.
It's all good.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm actually going to say I'm going to go to the West. I'm going to say the Dodgers are going to represent the NL in the World Series. The only reason I'm saying that is I want to see Trevor Burrow walking down through the Conor McGregor off of the mound, the little strut that he does. I just want him to win a World Series. I like the guy. I think he's awesome. And Nate, I got a spoiler for you. Tim Tebow is going to go to the Colorado Rockies. That's my spoiler for you, Nate. So we are coming into our last segment of the show. We're going to do our Mount Rushmore. During the show, we're going to go through each position on who is going to be on our Mount Rushmore. So for this week, we're going to do the starting pitchers for our Mount Rushmore on this one. I want to start with Felix on this one. Who do you see on your Mount Rushmore for starting pitchers?
So we had this conversation earlier. Someone said they didn't want to see him in a Hall of Fame, but during my lifetime, it's Roy Halladay. What he did, I mean, it's a shame he couldn't win a ring. If the Phillies wouldn't have traded Cliff Lee that year, we definitely would have had it. But to me, it's Roy Halladay during my lifetime. I can't talk about pitchers I haven't seen pitch.
All right, I just want to say, what's going on with Philly? You had Cliff Lee, Holiday, and who else? Hamels was there.
Yeah. So they traded Cliff Lee to reset the farm system, but we got nothing out of it. But we got him back.
All righty. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, Brandon, who is on your Mount Rushmore for starting pitching?
Are we just doing one at a time or all four?
All right, go all four.
Okay. So no particular order. I got Nolan Ryan up there. I mean, 7 no-hitters. Without a shadow of doubt, probably up there by himself. Bert Blyleven, probably my homer pick because he was a Twin for a while, got us a ring. I know Yoel said he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but it took him until his last year to get in. Mariano Rivera, I mean, the guy was a stud at closer. There's nothing else to say about him. And then my final pick, I kind of grouped 3 pitches together because in the 90s, the Braves weren't the Braves without Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavine. I think all 3 of them deserve a little piece of the pie up there. So that's my Mount Rushmore for pitching.
All right, UL.
Okay, this is a very interesting conversation because there's so many different eras of pitching. You can go back to the goal they call the golden age of baseball, which is Cy Young, Christy Matheson, Walter Johnson, guys from that era. You can go to guys like Bob Feller and Whitey Ford. Then moving on to Bob Gibson, Steve Carlton, Nolan Ryan. I forgot Sandy Koufax. For me, my 4 guys are going to be Koufax, Ryan, Walter Johnson, and Cy Young.
All righty. All right, Greg, the multiple question man. Who's on your pitchers Mount Rushmore?
Okay, I got 2 righties and 2 lefties. I got Walter Johnson, right-handed pitcher. He won a World Series. He won the MVP twice. He was a 3-time Triple Crown winner for pitching. He had 417 wins. He led the league in strikeouts for 12 seasons. Tremendous pitcher in his time, had over 3,500 strikeouts. Another righty, Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson in 1968 had one of the most outstanding dominant pitching performances of all time. He won 26 games, led the league in all statistical major pitching categories. Now, after his season in 1968, the Major League Baseball said, these flamethrowers like Bob Gibson are becoming too dominant, and they were in the middle of a dead ball era. So what they did was to take the advantage away from Bob Gibson and a few other pitchers was they lowered the pitching mound by a couple inches because it was just becoming unfair to a lot of hitters at the plate that just couldn't keep up with Bob Gibson and his fastball. So after that 1968 season, when he won 26 games and won the Cy Young and had his MVP caliber season, Major League Baseball decided to cut the pitching mound down by a few inches to give the hitters another chance to maybe be able to catch up to the speed and velocity of Bob Gibson and some of the other guys that were pitching in the high 90s at the time. My third pitcher is Sandy Koufax. Sandy Koufax, to me, you got to remember about Sandy Koufax. He retired when he was 30 years old. And when he retired at 30, he still had numbers that were Hall of Fame level. He put together a career by the age of 30 and had to retire early because of elbow injuries and problems. But he still had almost 2,400 strikeouts by the time he was 30. He had a World Series record of under 1 ERA. It was like 0.95. ERA. He was a 3-time pitching Triple Crown winner, 3-time Cy Young, two-time World Series MVP, all at the age of 30. So I can only imagine what it would be like if he was able to pitch into his late 30s, what his numbers would be like, because he still had like 165 wins. So he would have definitely won probably, 325 games or something, So he's my third pitcher. My fourth pitcher is another lefty, and it was a toss-up. It really came down between Randy Johnson and Steve Carlton. I chose Steve Carlton simply because of this fact. In 1972, the Philadelphia Phillies only won 59 games. Out of those 59 games, Steve Carlton was the winning pitcher for 27 of those 59 wins. That's a huge stat in my mind. So I'm going with Steve Carlton with the edge over Randy Johnson. Johnson has more strikeouts, but yeah, Steve Carlton, two-time World Series winner. He won the Cy Young Award. He won the Triple Crown once. So he was a 10-time All-Star. That's my starting for the Mount Rushmore of starting pitchers. So there was a few guys that was hard to leave off the list. Tom Seaver, I really thought that I wanted to give him a nod. But, that's my top four is Walter Johnson, Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, and, of course, Steve Carlton.
All right. So going to the comics, we have John Suggs saying Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, and Greg Maddux. Then Nate came back with Nolan Ryan, Cy Young, and Greg Maddux. Then we got Robert Goss, who said Koufax, Ryan, Cy Young, and Martinez with that. Felix, did you have any more pitchers on your Mount Rushmore?
During my time, I'd have to say Randy Johnson.
Okay.
I know he's not a Philly, but I respect his game when he was a Mariner.
Hey,
Yeah.
he hit a bird too, so.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's talented. Speaking of that, there's a video out there that happened last week where a batter hit a foul ball and the ball hit the bird.
No kidding.
Nice.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool with that. So, I have a honorable mention. They're gonna chisel some of the Mount Rushmore away. I'm gonna put for honorable mention to me. It's not. He has not had great numbers. It is Jim Abbott, who he pitched with one hand. Come on. I mean, I have to give him kudos to that. And just going out there and just being able to even going out there with a disability and just being able to be at least effective. I thought that was good. But once I get down to my Mount Rushmore, I was going to say Nolan Ryan because it's nothing better with a 46-year-old man being up a 26-year-old guy. I thought that was pretty cool. There. Then I have to say Walter Johnson, then Greg Maddux because he was also tremendous defensively as well. And he just had nasty off-speed stuff for Greg Maddux. And, of course, my man, the big unit, Randy Johnson, is in my Mount Rushmore. So this is where we do the 3-2 pitch, but we kind of did that during the Hall of Fame right there. So we're actually gonna skip that tonight. So with that being said, Greg, you got 30 seconds to say what's ever on your mind and so forth.
Okay. What's on my mind is I thought a lot about Ian Desmond opting out of a second season of baseball. I value his opinion to opt out if that's his choice, if he's got family reasons and everything. I actually respect him a lot for it. I just hope that when he's ready to come back, and if he comes back, he can find his form, because I know that a lot of players, when they try after a long hiatus of being injured or coming back from injury or whatever it is, sometimes they don't come back to what they once were. So I'm just hoping and praying that Ian Desmond, when he decides that he wants to hit the field again, or if he does, if he does want to come back, that he's able to play at the level that he was when he left a couple of years ago. So that's what I gotta say.
All righty. Brandon, you got 30 seconds.
All right. So we all have that one place that, in our childhood that when you see tore down or is no longer there, kind of hits you. 7 years ago today was the day that they blew up the Metrodome. I had a lot of memories there with the Twins baseball. In fact, I had a tryout with the Twins in that same place. So watched a lot of monster trucks there, football. So today, 7 years ago, kind of hit home again, watching the video of them destroying the Metrodome. So that is my take for my 30 seconds.
All right, I do want to mention, last week we talked about our favorite ballparks that we've been to. I've been to the Metrodome, and my biggest memory out of that ballpark was actually walking out of the Metrodome, because the air just shoots you out.
You shoot right out.
You're like running, pretty much.
Hold on to your hats and kids.
Pretty much. All right, Felix, you got 30 seconds.
So it's something about my Phillies team. They let Odubel Herrera back on the team, to try out for spring training after a couple of years ago where he had a domestic violence issue at a casino in Atlantic City. They're trying to get that stuff out of the league, and the Phillies are just letting them back in. I'm a little disappointed. I don't believe there's room for in baseball for that, especially, hitting a woman in public and, in front of his teammates and stuff. I just don't think that there's any room for that.
I agree with that.
Yep, I agree. I was going to give you a little crap about the Herrera name, Felix, but you got a great point on not letting him back in, so I respect that.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, UL.
All right. A little shout out to Mr. Met. Mr. Met held his integrity this week because Taijuan Walker wanted to wear 00, and Mr. Met's like, no, that's my number. So Taijuan Walker's going to be wearing number 99 again. He wore 99, and then he got traded to Toronto, and Hyunjin Ryu wore it, so he picked 00, and now he's got to go back to 99. So props to Mr. Met for standing his ground on his jersey number.
No congratulations to Tebow.
To what?
No congratulations to Tim Tebow retiring.
That's another show.
He tried. I gotta give him that one. All right. So, two things. Sunday. Guess what starts on Sunday? Spring training games will be on TV. So check out your local listings for the spring training games, and I hope that the players are mic'd up again in the outfield or in the infield, like Pete Alonso dropping the F-bomb on national TV.
It would have been great if they would have mic'd up. God, I can't think of the actor that got traded like 27 times one spring training.
Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell.
Yeah. It would have been great if he would have been mic'd up during that whole time. That was great.
All right. Also, on Thursday night, you can catch another edition of the Full Count, where we have some of the same crew. We're gonna have different people on, some of the same people as well. So check it out on Thursday night as well. I believe that is at 7 Central as well with that. And also, if you by chance missed this live stream here tonight, you can actually go onto Anchor and you can hear what everything we talked about. You can't see us, but you can replay it and hear our great conversation about the Hall of Fame, which I thought was great. And with that being said, Brandon, how can Robert and John win a free T-shirt?
Well, they can win a free T-shirt by doing exactly what they're doing, is commenting. They can also share our posts, our shows. That's simple. I don't think there's any contest that's any simpler than that. So comment, like, share, and you can win a free T-shirt for the month.
All right, and don't forget that you can buy those T-shirts for $14.99. And guess what? Mother's Day is coming up around the corner. I know it's in May.
Yep, and if you guys don't have the money, then go find Tejada. He's got a lot of it.
All righty. So with that being said, I hope to see our viewers back on Thursday night for another edition of the Full Count. And other than that, I hope everyone has a great night and see you guys at least next Tuesday.
Peace.
Good night.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.